welcome to Portage County Matters. My name is Patty Dreier. I'm Portage County Executive. It's great to have you with us. We have a fabulous show ready for you today. And my guest today is Debbie Bera. She's the Life Enrichment Program Director for the Portage County Healthcare Center. And I'm really excited to have you learn more about what kinds of programs we offer to residents at the center and how we really do enrich their lives. We'll get to that in just a moment. I've got 3 or so updates. Quickly, citizen appointments. Many of you know that I've been an advocate for citizens helping to shape the future of their own community, and today I want to remind you there are some citizen appointments that are available now or coming available soon, and I hope that you will let us know of your interest. Even if there isn't something that exactly fits your needs or your specialty area or your point of view or perspective right now, if we had a call from you, a contact from you, it would be helpful to have you on a list, and we'll go ahead and see how we can find a fit going forward. There will be a number of work groups also that I'm going to be organizing, and it'll be great to have additional citizens on those particular work groups. Right now there is an appointment available for a citizen to be helping to shape our aging and disability services in Portage County. You have to be age 65 or older to be appointed to the ADRC board, and I would be very happy to get some extra applications in, for we have 2 positions available right now. We're just making an appointment to the library board, and so I'm excited. We had 3 great applications, and that shows the interest of people out there. So anyway, again, appreciate you getting involved. Some say there are 2 seasons in Wisconsin. It's winter and road construction. Anyway, we've certainly got our share of road construction and maintenance projects on deck for 2014, and we're rolling out a number of different public input sessions on them. I know I attended one recently about County J construction coming up in 2014, and there's also one that will have already happened by the time the show airs here about County Z in Polonia. This is a reconditioning project that'll take place this summer. And anyway, I hope that if you have questions about road construction projects, that you know you're very welcome to call our highway department, and they'll provide you with some extra details. They're also continuing to put up information on the website, the county's highway department website, and you'll be able to get great information there. They update it regularly about the status of projects. Also related to road construction, I-39. There's a Wisconsin Department of Transportation-Stevens Point area corridor study that is taking place, and it began in 2010. It's assessing the safety, operations, pavement, and bike pedestrian needs along that entire corridor, not just to meet existing needs today, but also future transportation needs. I attended a public meeting session earlier this week, and there will be another one tonight actually, about 2 exchanges along the interstate. One was at County B in Plover, and the other's at Highway 66 near the airport in Stevens Point. And each of those interchanges are going to be due for revision in the future. And so this is a time in general when people can express their views and make sure that they have taken a look at the alternatives provided and help to shape what those exchanges will look like in the future. There's a lot of information to provide, so I guess the best way to go about it is, if you don't have a sense of where to get that information, you haven't seen those public information packets yet, give my office a call and we'll go ahead and get you connected with that info and the details. All right, and the last point I wanted to make here today was related to our bike ped planning project. I've tracked on this with you for quite a number of years now. We actually started this also in 2010. This is a long-range bike plan and pedestrian plan for not just the urban areas of the county, but the rural areas too. And we had never had a bike and pedestrian plan for the rural areas of our county before. So it's been an extensive effort to lift up from a blank page to the place where we are now at a final draft stage of the plan. We've been making a lot of progress. We've had 2 steering committees. Each of those have 15 members on them. Some are citizen members, some are municipal members. There's an urban steering committee and then a rural steering committee. The person who is the head of the rural steering committee is Mike Juris. He's the village president for the village of Amherst. And also then for our urban area, that's Professor Dr. Anna Haynes from the UW-Stevens Point Center for Land Use Education, who's been leading that group. Anyway, all coordinated through our Planning and Zoning Department and the leadership of Sarah Wallace and our director, Jeff Schuler. We're now at a point where we have the final draft for review, and we would like you to take a look. We've had a lot of citizens along the way who have identified dangerous intersections or preferred bike routes, and folks that have looked at safe routes to school and so many other aspects to this plan. But basically, now's the time to take a look. The bike plan is available for your review online at Portage CO Bike pedplan.wordpress.com. And I know that's a long address. What we'll do is we'll have that put on the bottom of the screen. The other alternative, besides looking online at the plan, is to give Sarah Wallace a call at Planning and Zoning at 715-346-1334. That's it for news today. And I would like to now introduce you to my guest, Debbie Bera. Debbie's the Life Enrichment Program Director at the Portage County Healthcare Center on Whiting Avenue in Stevens Point. And we know the Portage County Healthcare Center's been with us since the 1930s. Actually, 1938, I believe, is the construction of that building. And we're looking at the future. There's lots of bright things ahead of us, I believe. And I am sure, Debbie, you are a big bright spot in that whole future. For what you do is you change people's lives, you improve people's lives on a daily basis. So welcome, welcome.
Thank you for inviting me, Patty.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be here.
Yes, there's so much of a good story to tell. Things that many of us don't really think about on a daily basis unless we have a loved one at the Portage County Healthcare Center, or unless we're there maybe recuperating from knee surgery or a hip replacement or something like that. Let's talk a little bit about what the programs are, and before we even get to that, I want to find out a little bit more and have everybody learn more about your cool background. What does it take to be a director of these kinds of programs in a healthcare setting?
Okay. Well, I started out fresh out of high school working in nursing homes when I was 18 back in 1979.
What a courageous thing to do right out of high school,
yes,
too.
Started out as a certified nursing assistant. I've worked in 3 nursing homes. My final one, I think, is the Portage County Healthcare Center. And I've been an activity assistant and then was promoted to an activity director position throughout the years. I have served on the National Association of Activity Professionals Board. I was on their board for 9 years. I served 5 years as their public relations trustee, doing their website and their newsletter and things that are public relation related. And then I served 4 years as their vice president. I'm still on committees for that organization. And for the Wisconsin representatives of activity professionals, I have been a member as long as I've been in activities, which is 27 years total in activities, 21 years at the healthcare center.
Wonderful. And having the national acclaim, I know that well before I got here, you were a national leader in this field, so we're really lucky to have you here in our own community, helping to bring all of that experience and the research right here to the bedsides or to the folks in a particular program group in our own community. All right, so our Portage County Healthcare Center, as folks at home probably remember, because I've talked about the healthcare center a lot, has 100 licensed beds, and so it's a big place. It's a big community within our community. And folks come and go, and I just want to give folks a background a little bit. Remember, we have 3 wings at the Portage County Healthcare Center. We have a rehabilitation wing, the one where I talked about you would be there on a short-term basis because you're healing from a surgery, things like that, before you can go home from the hospital. And then there's another wing that has long-term care and sometimes end-of-life care in that particular place. So this is home for these individuals, and perhaps the last home that they will have. And then on another wing, there's dementia care or memory care wing, and it's a place for people who can't any longer be cared for at home safely. as dementia continues to take its toll, I guess. And my father-in-law was one of those individuals, so I certainly know what that's like. All right, so let's talk about life enrichment programs and what kinds of programs you offer for people in these kinds of situations in their own lives.
Okay, I'll start with the dementia program we have. Back in 2006, I designed and implemented a specialized dementia program, and 2 years later, in 2008, we made it a restorative dementia program. So we actually do receive funding back for it being a restorative program. There isn't these types of programs in many activity departments, so it's kind of unique in itself there to have that program and be able to offer that to our residents that make their home there. It is a program that's outcome-based and evidence-based programming, and I have spoken nationally and within the state about this program and helped initiate other facilities to get the program started in their facilities. And so, again, that's a program that's designed to get specific positive outcomes for the residents.
Give me an example. Give us an example of what would we do in a program like that?
Okay, well, basically we start out with some physical type of activity because, as we all know, if you move your body and get the blood flowing, you have better cognitive abilities. So we start out with that type of a movement to get the blood flowing to the brain, and then we work on cognitive thinking skills based on long-term memory, because our residents are moderate to severely impaired on that unit. And so we have to, the long-term memory lasts the longest. It's the short-term memory that goes first. So that's kind of what we would do in that program.
You have a sensory room at the Portage County Healthcare Center. We were leading a tour of the center earlier this week and walked by that room, and I saw one person who was resting and had a baby doll on her lap and was taking in just the whole experience there. There was another in the room as well, just taking in a different experience, I was very sure. Talk about, just kind of help everybody understand what's in the room, what does it look like, what does it feel like, and why are those things there? I think we can paint a verbal picture.
Okay, there is different things for sight, sound, basically your 5 senses, things for them to touch, because again, with dementia you work on the senses, and you can use, the great thing about sensory rooms is it can be used for the 2 opposite ends of the spectrum. It can be used to be relaxing, and it can also be used to be stimulating, because those are the 2 types of programs that residents with dementia need. At times they need to be stimulated so they don't spend all their time sleeping in a wheelchair. That's something we don't want to see at our healthcare center, and basically you don't see that too much unless in the evening program that is the goal, to get them relaxed and ready to go to bed. And then again, to get them stimulated with things that they can have success at. So the room is designed that they can, you know, each experience something totally different. We have a waterfall bead curtain that hangs from the ceiling. You can put people under there and it changes colors, and it looks, the colors kind of go like falling snow. And we have a bubble wall, which you can change the colors of that, and the bubbles go up. So those are relaxing elements of it. And then
We should have one of those in my office.
yes. It can also be used, a sensory room, to relieve pain in people that have pain because of its relaxing environment.
Well, anyway, and I've also witnessed programs that you led in that room, and it was just really an inspiration. So if folks can imagine, there were, I'd say 6 or 8 individuals in that particular room being led by activities staff. By the way, how many staff members do you have to join you on programs?
I have 3 activity assistants. 2 are full-time and 1 is part-time, and I'm very lucky, I feel, to have a great staff. We really complement each other with our different strengths that we have. So I'm really thankful for my great staff that I have, and because of the staff that I have, we're really able to provide some unique programming and really meet the needs of our residents with leisure.
And a lot of volunteers that help too, and we'll have to get more to that in a little bit. All right, so that's an example of some programs that we offer for individuals who who are in our dementia care area, just as an example. Now let's talk about the long-term care area. Maybe it's the end of my life and I'm bedridden, and talk about life enrichment activities for people in this kind of situation.
Okay, we also have special programming for them. Of course, we center that programming on end-of-life care, keeping them comfortable. So a lot of our programming is related to comfort measures and providing solace, not only to the resident, but also to the families. We provide that to them as well. We may do things, again, it's up to the resident and what they are accepting of and what their interests are, always for any activities. Sorry. But things like simple hand massages, which is very relaxing, back rubs, things like that. We also have a comfort cart, which I designed, and on that cart is different things like videos, a tape of the rosary, music, different types of music. We even use things like Enya, which is not a typical music that you might suspect older people like, but we find her music is soothing to people. And different reading material about end of life on that cart. And it's for both the resident and the family that's visiting during that time. A lot of times in Portage County, families are great. They are very involved in our residents' care, and they often sit at the bedside during that point in time. And so we look out for their well-being as well as the residents themselves.
I'm sure of it. I mean, and I've had some participation in this kind of activity in my own background, and I have to say, yes, I can definitely relate to the kind of care and the kind of attention it takes and the kind of courage it takes from caregivers in providing that kind of support. Talk about on-site versus off-site programs.
On-site, of course, is things like we do eat-ins in the winter because it's cold and it's hard to take them out to restaurants. So we'll do, like, Kentucky Fried Chicken is a popular one, pizza eat-ins, get pizza delivered, pick up stuff from the fast food places, pick up fish fries from the Blue Top, so we support area businesses. And then we get community to come in. We have alliances with Dr. Palmer at the university. Students in her class come and volunteer with the specialized dementia program, and that's a great help. It's often hard to get volunteers to work with those types of residents because they are the most challenging and sometimes difficult to work with for people that don't have a lot of background in that. We also have an alliance with the Charles Fernandez Learning Center. They come once a week, some students, and do recreational games with our residents. So it's things like horseshoes, basketball, skee ball, different types of what you might consider exercise as well, but fun exercise.
Exactly. I saw a beach volleyball game one time when I came in the front door, and that was great. And then you have seasonal activities like the caring tree, where folks can come in from the community and then they can pick an ornament off the tree, which is just a paper ornament that on the back says something about what we can go buy and bring back so that you can have it wrapped and present it to, as part of the program for the holidays, present it to residents, which I've loved doing.
And that's an alliance that we have with Pacelli. They kind of oversee that along with myself. And then our residents are always in the Christmas parade every year, and they look forward to that event. They come and ask if they can be included in that event as other events.
Excellent. All right, so before we get to springtime, I want to save that one, as it's 30 below outside as far as the wind chill goes on the day of this taping. What we have is, let's talk about over at the rehab wing, the program's there. So you have folks that might have had that knee surgery and they can't wait to get home, having crossed over the big bridge of getting a big surgery completed, for example. What kinds of program activities do you have for individuals in this situation?
Okay. There's a lot of things you have to consider with those. That, of course, they're involved in therapy all day. That is really their main purpose for being there. But we do a lot of one-to-one programming, and we offer special programming at 3:30 in the afternoon because generally therapy is done at that time. So we'll get, once a month we have a speaker come in, and I work with Barb Feltz at the ADRC to get speakers to come over and talk about topics of interest to them for when they get back in their home environment. Barb Feltz and I also are currently teaching a stepping on class at the healthcare center. So that is something we promote to our short-term stay residents.
It's a falls prevention program.
Yes.
I think a lot of folks may not know the name.
Right.
Stepping on. So again, a big advocate for falls prevention for sure. And I know Barb is, and I know we've been doing a great job in trying to address falls prevention in our county. And I'm so excited that you're actually providing a seamless program support. You get them all, they're captive, really, captive audience, and then be able to take those ideas home and make their homes safer and their situation safer so they can hopefully stay on the road to recuperation and not have an accident and a need to call an ambulance or something like that when they're home and start all over again.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we also, the programming for those residents, we center around the 6 dimensions of wellness. So offering things for spirituality, which goes beyond, organized religion, as you all know, and emotional and mental, physical, cognitive, and all those types of programs.
I've just heard so many compliments about all of this. We also have a chapel at the Portage County Healthcare Center, and I don't know how many folks are aware of that, but I mean, that is a very important part of life enrichment for many individuals who are churchgoers, and there's all different kind of services that are offered.
Right. In fact, even today, I usually do the memorial service, but I have one of my staff members doing it in my absence. I offer a memorial service 3 to 4 times a year for the residents who have passed away while they were under our care. So that has been a very good program that families appreciate, and the residents, because actually it was an idea that came from residents themselves, from the resident council way back, that they wanted to know that they would be remembered once they were gone, because that being part of the healthcare center was a significant part of their life.
Wow. Wow. I'll have to get over and attend one, and I didn't know about that one before. All right, so now let's talk about music therapy. I know that you have a recent partnership with the state of Wisconsin. We're on a leading edge. Yes. Talk about music therapy.
Okay. Well, before I get to the Music and Memory Initiative, I do want to say we do have a music therapist that comes usually about every other month and does a music therapy group session for our residents, and she's terrific. She uses the harp. Harp music is very healing and relaxing. So it's very effective. Our residents love her, so that's a great bonus that we have access to this music therapist. But yes, I am very excited about the Music and Memory Initiative. I'll give you a little bit of background about that. Only 100 facilities in Wisconsin got chosen, so we feel very lucky that the healthcare center got chosen. And only 2% or less than 2% nationwide are part of that program of nursing homes. It's strictly at this point for nursing homes, not for CBRFs or RCACs or any of those other long-term living places. And what Music and Memory is it's creating a personalized playlist of residents' favorite music and loading that on to iPods, and then we use residents themselves by having them listen to music and see what reaction they have to different songs. Family members filled out an assessment about favorite music, and then our staff, the activity staff, have done assessments on the residents as well. And what they found, again, it's an evidence-based programming, and a lot of our programming I'm now gearing to evidence-based because the state of Wisconsin is very much into what's the positive outcomes that the residents can get out of it.
In other words, science-based.
Yes. So anyway, we're in what I call phase 2, where we're actually starting to work with the residents in creating their playlists. We've been creating the master one. But what it does is it reduces behaviors. It reduces the need for psychotropic medications. Again, the state and federal government is really wanting to see less psychotropic meds used with dementia because they've found that it really has nominal benefit. and has a lot of significant risk for older adults to take those meds. And they have found that the use of iPods and personalized music surpasses what any drug could do.
Wow, so you're working through it. There's some testing, there's some reporting, and we're going to continue to work through it and learn from it and share it. Talk about the, I know we have about 4 minutes or so in the show yet, and I'd like to touch on that early memory loss program from the Aging and Disability Resource Center. Come last budget, we found a way to shift that program and have some other cost benefits to Portage County while we continue to program by partnering between the Aging and Disability Resource Center and the Healthcare Center. And so you're transitioning the program over, and it'll be an opportunity for folks who are in that program to come and receive programming related to early memory loss. Just keep their cognition going, right? Stay active, and then know that the Portage County Healthcare Center has a dementia care area, so then it won't be like a foreign place to go. It won't be a scary place because they'll have already seen that it's really a community within our community.
Right, and I'm very excited about it. I attended the first one yesterday. Between now and when I take over, I'm going over to the ADRC to take part in it, and I have to say that Katie Bembenek, who's currently running it, does a very impressive job. And I was very excited to meet the participants that were there yesterday, and they were very welcoming to me. I feel like I have hard shoes to fill because it's very clear that they love Katie, and so I'm going to have to build that rapport as well.
Yeah. All right. So as I mentioned before, I wanted to save spring until the end of the show because we're all dying for it about now. Now, we have an outdoor area at the Healthcare Center that is stupendous. It's really something, and we've expanded it. Tell everybody a little bit more about it and how the programs that you do, as soon as the weather gets nice, we'll have folks outside.
Okay. We have a sensory garden. It was something that I researched, and we were fortunate that our DON was...
Department of Nursing.
Yeah, right. Was a master gardener. So I raised the funds, she designed the garden, and again I raised the funds by having the research and speaking to different groups to get monies donated. And we use it for outdoor campfire nights in the summer. We do garden parties and serve refreshments and have music entertainment out there. One year we actually had the Master Gardeners. We were part of the tour, and we had music programs out there all day long, which was great.
Cello and things I remember out there.
Singers and all
Yes.
different from the university. So that was a great opportunity for us to be a part of the larger community there.
Do folks get to plant anything themselves?
Residents-
Horticultural therapy?
Yes, we have a greenhouse, and we share that with our therapy department because gardening is very therapeutic, so they do a lot of that as well. And planting things, and I have to say the Charles Fernandez Center is the one who actually raised the funds and built our greenhouse originally. The students did it.
So as we put all of this together, I mean, the Portage County Healthcare Center, state-of-the-art programming for all people at all stages of their lives, and it brings the community in to partner with them all along the way. And you couldn't do it without all these members of the community, but there are other volunteers as well. Let's touch on volunteers, and then we'll probably wrap up the show as we're going to have to.
Volunteers, of course, are really important to our programming. They help us to be able to do more than what we could with just our own staff. We utilize them in a lot of ways, again, with the specialized dementia program. Currently, with the music and memory program, I have 3 volunteers that I've got going with that.
If folks want to get involved in volunteering,
They can contact me.
stop in at the center.
Right.
It's a place that they're all welcome, right?
They certainly are. I love good volunteers.
Yeah, thank you so much. You and your staff and all the other folks that are partners on this. It warms my heart. I'm pretty sure it's going to warm lots of viewers' hearts, and we need that warmth about now since we've got to let winter go now. Thank you so much for being here today, Debbie.
Well, thank you, Patty, for inviting me. I really enjoyed it.
All right, next month I will have Highway Commissioner Nathan Check join us, and we'll talk about some of the construction projects ahead in that second season of Wisconsin. So again, thank you everybody for joining us.